50 Cent and Eminem finally exposed Jay-Z and Beyoncé in ugly public fight. For years, Jay-Z and Beyoncé have been sitting on the throne untouchable, unshakable, and heavily protected. Any criticism thrown their way, it was either brushed off or shut down by a wave of loyal fans, industry gatekeepers, or silence. But something has shifted. Two of hip-hop's loudest voices, 50 Cent and Eminem, are making noise that's too bold to ignore. And they're not just throwing shots. They're pulling the curtain back on the whole empire, exposing what they claim is a legacy built on backdoor deals, intimidation, and career sabotage. Let's start with 50. The man never shies away from speaking his mind, but lately he's been extra vocal about what he believes has been going on behind the scenes. In a recent sit-down, he came straight out and said it. Jay-Z has been blocking his business moves for years, not just in music, but in real-world corporate plays. One of the wildest claims? Jay allegedly used his NFL connections to try and stop 50 from performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. And why? No real reason given, just some vague statement about the NFL having issues with 50. But here's where it gets spicy. Eminem caught wind of it and stepped in, refusing to do the performance unless 50 was included. That alone blew the lid off what was supposed to be a quiet backroom move. It backfired hard. Now, this isn't just two rappers venting. This is about power. Who controls the stage, the spotlight, and the rewards? And Eminem? He's been on this way for years. Long before this latest drama, M's been sounding the alarm on how the industry is rigged. He's called out the Grammys for what he sees as a scammy operation that props up favorites and buries real talent. According to him, the Recording Academy plays this nasty game where they invite artists to boost ratings, hype them up with nominations, and then shut them up completely on the night. Eminem even swore off the Grammys entirely, saying he'd never show up again, and he stuck to it. Meanwhile, 50 is doubling down. He's not just talking about award shows. He's pointing fingers at Jay-Z, saying the wins he racks up at these big events have less to do with music and everything to do with his marriage to Beyoncé. According to 50, the Recording Academy knows exactly what it's doing. Invite the Carters, hand them a few trophies, and the cameras will roll, the headlines will pop, and the show will trend. And when Beyoncé finally took home Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter, not everyone was clapping. Whispers started flying that Jay pulled strings once again, playing the game like a master behind the scenes. But the accusations don't stop at rigging the Grammys. The darker stuff? It hits much harder. Let's talk career sabotage. A growing number of artists and insiders are coming forward saying Beyoncé has allegedly blackballed other women in the game, names like Aaliyah, Maya, Mary J. Blige, Carrie Hilson, talented rising stars who suddenly faded into the background just as Beyoncé was rising to the top. Coincidence? Maybe, but it's the pattern that has people raising eyebrows. Even former collaborators like Khalees and Amory have spoken out, claiming songs were stolen, credits removed, or producers were poached at critical moments in their careers. One track, one sample, one shady deal, and suddenly the spotlight shifts. The message? Step out of line and you get erased. What's wild is how long this narrative has been floating just under the surface. People were too scared to say it loud, but now 50 and M, they're saying it all. Beyoncé's name being tied to career sabotage isn't some baseless internet rumor anymore. Carrie Hilson's story is one of the most telling. She didn't just fade from the spotlight, she was practically shoved out of it. After dropping a song that was allegedly aimed at Beyoncé, even though Carrie never confirmed it, things went downhill fast. The backlash from the Beehive was brutal, but insiders say the real damage happened behind the scenes. Rumors started flying that Beyoncé had people in Carrie's own camp who lined her up for the fall. And when Carrie later refused to hold a magazine cover featuring Beyoncé and Jay-Z, that was it. The industry turned cold, shows canceled, calls stopped, and suddenly she couldn't move forward without hitting a wall. Then there's Khalees. When Beyoncé sampled her hit Milkshake without credit or a heads up, Khalees didn't hold back. He said it straight. Beyoncé's team never asked, never warned, never acknowledged. Khalees found out the same way fans did, online. And when she spoke up, instead of addressing the issue, the sample was just quietly removed. No apology, no public response, just silence. That kind of silence isn't just disrespectful, it's calculated. It sends a message to anyone else who might think about speaking up. The pattern is messy and dangerous. Mia, a lesser-known artist with serious talent, spoke up about being blackballed after turning down a powerful figure's advances. She didn't name names, but the dots were there. She hinted that standing her ground cost her everything. Radio silence, closed doors, and an industry that moved on without her, and just like that, another voice was wiped from the charts. 50 Cent and Eminem aren't ignoring that pattern, they're pointing straight at it, especially now that more stories are surfacing, including from insiders like Jaguar Wright. She's been vocal for years, calling out what she calls a system built on silence and control. She worked closely with Jay-Z in her early days and claims she saw firsthand how ruthless the climb to the top can be. Her biggest bombshell? She says Jay's rise came at the cost of other artists' lives, careers, and credibility. A name she's never been shy about mentioning: Big L. Big L was one of the hottest names in Harlem back in the 90s, a lyrical monster. Everyone in the streets knew he was next up. He had the kind of raw talent that couldn't be faked. Columbia signed him, then dropped him, but he was still making noise. Right before he was set to sign with Rockefeller and change his whole trajectory, he was murdered in a Harlem drive-by. The case? Still unsolved. And while no one has concrete proof tying that moment to Jay-Z, the timeline raises questions, especially since Jay's career skyrocketed not long after. It's not just Big L. Jaguar claims Jay-Z's whole journey is littered with people who conveniently fell off, disappeared, or met tragic ends. DMX was another one who wasn't afraid to challenge Jay directly. When Jay became president of Def Jam, things shifted. DMX had been the label's backbone, multiple platinum albums, hits for days, but when he tried to drop his 6th album, it got delayed. Some say Jay did it intentionally to clear space for his own comeback. DMX never trusted the setup. He even called it out in his track The Industry, saying the whole game was a trap designed to silence real voices and promote safe, controlled artists who would play by the rules. These aren't isolated incidents. They paint a bigger picture of an industry where power means everything and those who question it often disappear. The deeper you go, the more it feels like Jay-Z and Beyoncé didn't just climb the ladder, they pulled it up behind them. One person who's been loud about that is 50 Cent. On multiple podcasts and interviews, he's accused Jay of still trying to sabotage him, even though both are way past their prime in terms of needing to compete. According to 50, it's not about music anymore, it's about control. He says Jay's still in boardrooms, still whispering in the right ears, trying to stop deals from happening if he's not part of them. Even business plays unrelated to rap, like media ventures or sports partnerships, suddenly run into unseen obstacles once Jay-Z gets wind of them. That kind of behavior would make more sense in a younger artist trying to protect their spot. But Jay is already a billionaire with more accolades than anyone can count, so why keep going this hard? 50 believes it's insecurity masked as dominance. That Jay isn't content with being successful, he wants to be the only one considered successful. Everyone else? They're either beneath him or a threat. And that brings us to one of the most uncomfortable theories floating around, that Jay and Beyoncé's marriage isn't just love, it's business. 50 went as far as calling their relationship a contract. He suggested that everything from public appearances to Grammy wins is part of a long-term brand strategy. The claim is wild, but when you look at how often they're front and center at every major event, every award show, it starts to click. Jay performs, Beyoncé wins, ratings skyrocket, everyone benefits, especially the Recording Academy. It's a cycle and they're the centerpiece. Even their public drama seems calculated. Remember that infamous elevator footage with Solange? For most people, something like that could have caused serious damage, but somehow it only made the Carters seem more mysterious, more powerful. Like no matter what chaos surrounds them, their image comes out stronger. That's not luck. That's brand mastery. But it's not just rap beef and award shows. Some of the darkest whispers point toward lives destroyed for the sake of preservation. Former bodyguard Uncle Ron went public, claiming he had proof that Jay and Beyoncé ruined careers and manipulated situations behind the scenes. Before he could release anything substantial, he died from pneumonia. The timing sparked speculation. Ron had always said he knew too much. And now, just like that, he was gone. The list of voices calling them out is long. Jaguar Wright, DMX, Beanie Siegel, Khalees, Carrie Hilson. Even artists from completely different lanes have echoed the same warning. Don't get in their way, because once you do, you either play along or get played. It's a cold game, and the Carters have mastered it. What's really wild is how the public has been conditioned to overlook it all. Say one negative thing about Jay or Bey and you're instantly labeled jealous, bitter, or irrelevant. But now, with 50 Cent and Eminem speaking up, two voices that actually have reach, history, and receipts, more people are starting to listen. This isn't some messy tabloid rumor. These are patterns, statements, stories that line up across time and space. So here's the real question. Are Jay-Z and Beyoncé simply strategic geniuses who played the industry better than anyone else, or are they something darker? Two people who built a dynasty not just by rising up, but by pushing everyone else down. Either way, the spotlight's finally shifting, and it's not on a Grammy stage, it's on the truth. And it looks like it's just getting started.